and welcome back to another yoga class here. It's going to be a fun one today. It's going to be a 30-ish minute fiery strength flow, working on a lot of push-ups and core work and quad work. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to get started with some breath of fire, Kapalabhati. So seated position here, hands resting on the knees. This is a good way to just fire up your core, get your diaphragm working, your breathing muscles, and just feel some warmth in here because it's going to work. So I'll explain it first, and then you can watch me and we'll go through a round together. But you'll take a nice full breath in, full breath out, and then you're going to inhale halfway. And from that halfway point, you're going to forcefully exhale through your nose. So blow your nose first if you have any sniffles. But you'll forcefully exhale pretty quickly, and the inhale will come automatically, kind of because it's like a pressurized system. So here's how it goes. And we'll do 30 reps. So inhale all the way. Exhale. Inhale halfway. Inhale all the way. Exhale. We'll do one more full breath and go into 30 more breath of fire. Exhale everything out. Inhale halfway. Exhale. Okay, if you've never done that before, it's hard to get used to, so just practice. But we're gonna flip over into a tabletop position, shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. Cow pose, exhale, cat pose, around the spine, tuck the chin and pelvis towards each other. A couple more of these with your breath. Moving the spine, getting warmed up. Exhale, round. Come back to neutral. Make sure those toes are tucked, and we're going to push the hips back into down dog. So your knees might not straighten out all the way yet. Depends how warmed up you are or flexible. That's okay. Make sure the hands are screwing into the mat. Elbows are rotating forward. We'll do a couple spinal rolls here. So on the inhale, lift the heels up, roll the whole spine forward until you come into plank. Exhale, hips lead the way back to down dog. Two more of those. Inhale, roll forwards. Exhale, hips lead the way back to down dog. One more. Okay, walk the feet to the top of the mat. We're going to start out with a couple sun salutations with a twist. So each time we do chaturanga, we're actually going to do 2 push-ups because this is a strength class. So inhale, sweep the arms up, overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, halfway lift, straighten the spine. Exhale, step or jump back to plank pose. 1 push-up, 2 push-ups, and then you'll lower halfway, come into chaturanga, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, on the inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat. Halfway lift of the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back to plank pose. 1 push-up, 2 push-ups. Lower halfway to chaturanga, flip over the toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step, float, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway left. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Tadasana. 1 more sun salutation. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to plank pose. Do your push-ups. And then lower halfway. Chaturanga, up dog. And downward facing dog. Okay, you should already be feeling pretty warmed up here. So we'll come to a standing position in a star pose. So legs are nice and wide, toes are pointing straight ahead, arms come up. So from here, we're going to move into a forward fold. So let the back round, let the spine round. Inhale, halfway lift to a straight spine, using those fingertips as traction here. Exhale, you're going to come into Skandasana on the left. So this is kind of a side lunge position. If this is where you are, that's a great start. Otherwise, you'll rotate that right leg or that right foot onto the heel. Left toes point out to the side, angle out. Hands at heart center, or you can expand them out. From here, the toes are going to rotate to the front of the mat. Right hand plants, left hand reaches up to the sky. You're twisting through your torso here. Exhale. Your left hand goes to where your left foot was. Step back to plank. Do a push-up. Back up. Left foot replaces the left hand. Twist up again. And then we're going to come into Skandasana on the right. So bend deeply into that right leg. Toes angle out. Left foot lifts onto the heel. Hands at heart center or expand up. All 10 toes are going to turn to the back of the mat. Left hand plants. Right arm sweeps up to the sky. Low lunge with a twist. Right hand comes down and replaces the right foot. Step back to plank. Do a push-up. Back to plank. Right foot steps to low lunge. Twist up again. We're going to come back to a wide-legged forward fold. Halfway lift, fold again, arms sweep up to star, hands collect at center for goddess pose. So legs are still nice and wide, heels point in, toes point out, knees track over the toes, so don't let them collapse in. Nice straight spine, crown of the head lifts towards the sky. So that's our flow. We'll be doing that a few times. So I hope you liked it. From here, we're moving into Warrior 2 on the left. So the left toes point forward, right toes angle at a 45-degree angle, arms sweep open. Chest faces towards the right of the mat. From here, you're gonna lift onto your left toe tip so the heel raises up. Just to feel more of a burn through the calf and the quad. Stay long through your collarbone. Move into reverse warrior, so left arm sweeps up and overhead. Right arm drapes down the back leg. You're still on those toes on the left side. Feel a nice stretch through the left side body. And then we'll move into side angle. So drop the heel down. Left elbow comes onto left knee. Right fingertips reach diagonally towards the sky. So it's a long line of energy from your left fingertips all the way down, or right fingertips down to the right toes. We'll do that a couple times with the breath moving from warrior two on the inhale, with reverse warrior, and then side angle on the exhale. Last one, inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. I'm going to move into warrior two on the right side. Right toes point forwards. Left toes angle in at an angle, arms sweep open. Widen through the collarbones. And then lift that right heel up off the ground. Steady breath. From here, reach that left arm back down the back leg. Right arm sweeps over for reverse warrior. Right heel is still lifted. All right, move with your breath. So plant the right heel. We're gonna come into side angle, long line of energy from left toes to left fingertips. Twist the torso open. Right elbow plants on the right knee. Exhale to reverse warrior. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, reverse warrior. Good, come back up into star pose. So toes point forward, arms up overhead. Exhale to a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now we'll come into Skandasana on the left. So bend deeply into that left leg. Toes angle out to the side, roll onto the right heel. Just one breath per movement now. So low lunge with a twist. Inhale, sweep the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, plant it, step back to plank, push up, back up. Low lunge on the left. Twist open. And then we'll sweep on over to Skandasana on the right. So bend deeply into that right leg. Hands at the center. Rotate all 10 toes to the back of the mat. Low lunge with a twist, opening up to the right side. Plant the hands, step back to plank and push up. Low lunge with a twist on the right. We're going to come back up into star pose. Exhale, forward fold with wide legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, goddess pose. So rotate those heels in, toes out. Nice wide-legged squat. Good, arms sweep up overhead. And then turn to face the top of the mat. Take a little shake out, whatever you need. Nice deep breath. And then hands will plant. We'll step back into plank pose. And then from here we're moving into a side plank. So put all the weight into the left hand. Rotate the torso open to the right. Right arm reaches up to the sky. You can drop onto your left knee if you need. The right foot can either be planted in front or stacked on top. A few nice breaths here. Make sure the left shoulder isn't touching the right ear. Draw the navel and the ribs in on the exhale. So from here we'll move into Wild Thing. You'll pick up your right foot, bend it behind you, keep that left leg straight, and sweep overhead. So you're opening your chest to the sky, right fingertips drape down. Now we'll do a few of those transitions with your breath. I'm going to scoot up so I don't fall off my mat. So, from Wild Thing, you're going to inhale to side plank, arm to the sky. Exhale to Wild Thing, twist open. Inhale, side plank. Exhale, twist open. Last one, exhale, Wild Thing. Hip points reach towards the sky. Good. Rotate back into a plank position. Let's do one push-up, and then come back, rest into child's pose briefly. That left shoulder is doing a lot of work. We will switch sides now. So shift forward, tabletop. Now lift the knees, come into plank pose, and then we'll come into side plank on the right. So all the weight goes into the right hand. Either the right knee can drop, the left foot can angle out or stack on top. Pull the right shoulder blade down and back. From here, move into Wild Thing. So pick up those left toes and plant them behind you. Rotate the torso open. Hip points face the sky. Okay, we'll move with our breath. So inhale, side plank. Exhale, fingertips drape down for Wild Thing. Inhale, side plank. Exhale, Wild Thing. Inhale, side plank. Exhale, Wild Thing. Come back to a neutral plank. Do a push-up. And then rest back into child's pose. Child's pose is always there any other time that you need it too. Okay, so now we're going to move into a flow between Navasana, boat pose, and Bakasana, crow pose. So come to a seated position, sweep the legs out in front of you. We're going to do 2 rounds of this. So the first round will show a few modifications, and then the second round will do the more advanced variation. So for boat pose, if you're a beginner, I want you to keep your toes planted into the mat and your arms, your hands supporting behind you. You're just working on knitting those ribs and that navel, that belly button in towards your spine. If you're able, you could lift your hands up or just lift your feet up so your shins are facing parallel to the mat. So take any of those variations. Otherwise, we'll do Navasana with shins parallel and hands at heart center. Hold for 5 breaths. Spine stays nice and straight. You're balancing on the meaty flesh around your sit bones, so your booty. 2 more breaths. Good. Plant the feet. Use the arms to help you come over. Moving towards crow pose. So for crow, we'll do, again, a little beginner variation at first, and then the next round, we'll try for full crow. So plant both hands into the mat. Nestle your knees either to the upper triceps or into the armpits if you can. I want you to screw your hands outwards and rotate the elbow pits to face forward. Put most of the weight through your index finger and your thumb. And then you're going to lift your hips. Start sinking forward, forward, forward until more weight is in the hands than the feet. So from here, on this round, we're just going to lift one leg at a time. So pluck those right toes up. Move that right heel in towards your bottom. 2 breaths. Release it down. Switch sides. So pluck those left toes up. Left heel towards the left glute. Still shifting weight forward. And back down. Good. We'll come back into boat pose. So sit on your bottom. Scoot if you need. Take a little roll out of the neck and the spine. Okay. So take any variation that you did in that first round, or if you want, you can start to extend your legs straight. Extend your arms straight, if you can hold your balance, and keep a nice long spine. 3 more breaths. Lift higher. Good. Come back down. Use your hands, flip on over. Coming towards crow pose again. Again, take any variation you did in the first round. Otherwise, we can lift both feet at the same time and try to straighten into the elbows to come into full crow. So both hands plant. Knees on the inside of the armpits. Lift the hips, shift forward, forward, forward. Pick up the toes, in towards the bottom, and then straighten into the elbows. 3 breaths. Good, back down. Feel free to pause the video and take another rep. Otherwise, let's meet in a ragdoll, a forward fold at the top of our mat. A little bit more strengthening here, and then we'll cool down. So inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shin, straighten the spine. Exhale, fold. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Okay, so stand up all the way, roll your spine 1 segment at a time. Roll the shoulders out, and then we'll meet in star pose. So face the long edge of your mat, toes face forward, arms up overhead. Nice, inhale to straighten the spine, and then exhale, wide-legged fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Skandasana, deep lunge on the left side. You can widen out your stance if you need. 1 breath here. Then rotate into a low lunge with a twist on the left side. Right hand plants, left fingertips reach the sky. Plant the left hand, step back to plank, do a push-up. Left foot steps back to a low lunge with a twist. And then we're going to rotate into Skandasana on the right. Nice deep lunge. You can place a block underneath your glute if you need more space, or like a blanket under your heel if your heel can't reach the mat. Rotate to the back of the mat. Low lunge with a twist open to the right. Exhale, right hand plants. Plank pose, push up. Right foot replaces the right hand, twist open. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, star pose, and then let's move into goddess. So hands at heart center, toes point out, heels in, knees track over the toes. We're gonna hold this one longer. So I hope you're ready. Feel strength in those quads. You can do this, don't release yet, you got this. So we'll come onto the left toe tips. So lift the left heel off, back down, switch sides, right heel lifts, back down, 2 more on each side, left side. Use your breath to carry you through. One more on each side. Inhale, left leg, left heel up, down. Strong breath, strong legs. Right heel lifts and lowers. 3 more breaths. Sink lower if you can. Good. Come into wide-legged forward fold. Woo! Those legs. Good. So move the hands over to the top of the mat, step back into down dog, just walk it out a little bit. From here, lift the left leg up towards the sky, bring it forward for a half pigeon. So either you can have the shin at a 45-degree angle with the toes pointed, or you could move the shin closer to parallel and have the foot flexed like this. If you need, you can place a block underneath that bent hip. Otherwise, I'm going to take this pointed toe variation today. So 2 breaths, straighten the spine, lift the crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhale, fold. Come onto a pillow or bolster if you need. Letting the breath slow, letting the heart rate slow. Releasing any tightening of those legs. Two more breaths. Good. Plant through both palms. Push through the hands, tuck the back toes. Pluck that left leg off. Reach to the sky. And then let it hang, let it drop. Inhale, right leg sweeps up. Exhale, come into your variation of half pigeon. So again, if the shin is at an angle, I want your toes pointed. If it's more parallel, you can flex through the ankle. Use any props underneath the hip or underneath your head when we fold, but let's take 2 breaths here. Rotate that left hip forward a little bit. Don't splay open to the side. And then exhale, fold. Let the shoulders hang heavy, let it drop. Let everything drop into the mat and relax. One more breath. Slowly move back up. Sweep the left foot in front of you as well. We're going to move into a shoulder stance. So scoot the hips forwards. Lay down onto your back, nice and slowly. So from here, we're going to move into a shoulder stand. Use the palms pressing down into the mat and your ab muscles to bring your knees up and overhead. So we're propping up on our elbows. Our hands are supporting the low back. If you're here, that's a fine start. Otherwise, try to press those hip bones forwards. Straighten the legs and point the toes towards the sky. Tuck the chin. Straighten your line even more. Hands can shift down the back as you get stronger. One more breath. Slowly lower, one vertebrae at a time, using your hands as brakes. And then hug the knees in. We'll come into happy baby. So knees splay out to the side, bottoms of the feet face the ceiling, hands grasp on the outside of the feet. Lengthen the whole spine and flatten your back, your sacrum, your tailbone down towards the mat instead of letting it round up. And then open up through the inner thighs. They did a lot of work in goddess pose today. Two more breaths. In your own time, roll to your side, sit up, and then we're going to move into Virasana hero pose. So you come onto your shins, toes pointing behind you, and I want you to sit your hips down in between your heels. If you have knee pain or if you're just really not flexible right now, you can put a block and sit on that, and you still can feel a stretch in your quad. Otherwise, sit between the heels, knees are pointing forwards. If you're able, lower onto your elbows here. If that's too much, you can use those blocks behind you and prop your elbows onto those. This is where I used to be, which was great, and I felt a huge stretch here. But as you're able, you can move those to the side. If you're ready, you can lay all the way down onto your back and lift your arms overhead. Breathe into low back, breathe into the front hips, into the quads. You can grasp opposite elbows. Find a position that is a good stretch, but one that doesn't make you tense up. Find one that you can melt into deeper. We'll be spending our last few relaxing, restful breaths here. Slow the heart rate. If you want, you can, whatever position you're in, you can try to push through the shins and lift the hip bones up towards the ceiling. So if that means you're on your elbow or on the blocks, that's great, but this is even more of a stretch through the front of your quads. Three more breaths. So in your own time, your own way, drop the hips back down, come up onto elbows, shimmy up onto your hands, and then slowly sweep one leg out in front of you at a time. Move slowly, and we'll meet in an easy seated pose on the side of your mat. Thank you for joining me. That was a tough one. I found it really challenging to move each breath with movement, especially while I was talking, so thank you for being patient during that. It was really challenging for your shoulder stabilizers, your core, your quads, your calves, a little bit of everything. Your arms during push-ups, so I know you were very strong. I know you used your breath to get you through it, so good job, and thank you for joining. Namaste.